Hello, and thank you so much for serving on this Sunday, July 28th, 2024. This Sunday is Memory Verse Sunday, and we are going to be teaching a lesson, so I'm going to give you a brief run through of what to expect today. So you're going to be arriving around 9:30. The first place you need to go is to the check-in room to receive your volunteer sticker and to participate in the group huddle and pray together as a team. Around 9:45 is when you'll go to the classroom. And when you're in the classroom, one person needs to turn on the TV, open the YouTube app, click on the Lindsay channel, and open the Oaks Kids playlist. And then if you want to go ahead and find the Open the Eyes of My Heart song, you can pause it at the beginning of that so it's ready to go. One other adult should be taking attendance using the iPad at the front door as kids are arriving, and the other adults just kind of milling around and talking to kids, catching up with them and their weeks. So around 10:10, it's time to clean up the centers. The kids need to make sure they get everything off the floor, the tables, wherever their center materials have landed, and get those put back on the white shelf near the front door. And that's when you're going to dismiss kids to the worship area. I dismiss them by grade level, starting with the youngest, so then that way they can be closer to the TV so they can see it better. You're going to do the song Open the Eyes of My Heart together, and then around 10:20, that is when you're going to start switching into practicing your monthly memory verse. You're going to be listening on your walkie-talkie because you will be hearing when it is time to line the kids up to bring them down to the sanctuary. But until you hear from them, you're going to practice this month's memory verse, which is right here, 2 Corinthians 5:17. Run through that as many times as you can until you hear on the walkie-talkie that it is time to bring them down. So when you hear that it's time to bring them down, if you're teaching 3rd through 5th, go ahead and grab your yellow bag so that you are all set to head upstairs afterwards. And you're going to come out to the lobby and line up at the right hand door to the sanctuary. When you can hear them say that it's time for passing of the peace, when that 4th song has ended, that's when you're going to enter the sanctuary and line up in front of the stage. You're going to do the memory verse together, and then you're going to exit. So when you exit, K through 2 will return to the classroom, 3rd through 5th will then head upstairs. So make sure you have that yellow bag and your upstairs walkie-talkie with you when you go in for your memory verse. So following that, when you get into your separate classrooms, we're going to do a lesson today. We're not going to do a follow-up activity that's as complicated for our upstairs kiddos this week because our time is usually a little bit shorter on Memory Verse Sundays. But our lesson for this week is Joseph Interprets the Dreams on pages 40 and 49 of our Gospel Story Bible. So if you're in K through 2, the teacher is going to read that out loud to them on the carpet. If you're in 3rd through 5th, the kids can read it out loud to you, taking turns reading paragraph by paragraph. You have just a few follow-up questions right here immediately following that. And then if you are downstairs, you have a craft. They might not get it put together or finished all the way, but this is what the final looks like. So it says Dream Cows is the title. So they're going to color their cow and cut it out. I'd have them color first, and then if they have the time to cut it out, they can. If they're stuck in the middle, there is a box of Ziploc bags on the table with all the materials, and so they should just put their pieces inside that Ziploc bag if they don't get it finished. But each child will receive a sheet like this. They want to color it, they want to cut it out, make sure that they don't cut off that little tab there because that's how they're going to be able to glue on their nose to their cow's face. And so that's just what they're going to be using. Looking at the example, using the direction sheet to complete that cow. If you're upstairs, you're going to use your time doing 2 different things. The upstairs garden beds do need to be weeded. So there are gardening gloves in the green and white rolling cart that is in the boys' classroom. They can get the gardening gloves out and the plastic bags to kind of get some of those weeds out and take turns. So maybe have the girls group go out first while the boys start playing board games. The board games are located on one of the alcoves just outside the classroom. In that hallway, you'll see it right as you enter. So one group could be playing board games while the other is weeding, and then maybe switch after 5 or 10 minutes. So you're going to be listening then on the walkie-talkie for when it's time to return downstairs. It's typically around 11:10, but because we have the walkies now, you don't have to come at exactly that time. You should listen and wait until you receive the message that it is time for communion to start, so the kids need to head downstairs. Make sure when you do your huddle that you guys are all on the same channel so that you can hear when it's time, when the floater lets you know. So when you return downstairs, that means it is time for dismissal. The kids need to sit in the worship area, with the exception of maybe one or two kids. One kid could be helping to put back together material boxes to make sure those are nice and neat and ready for next week. And then one other could be sitting by the door with one of the adults collecting stickers during dismissal time. And that is it. Thank you guys so much for serving this Sunday. I am actually not here this Sunday, but if you need me, please feel free to call or text me anytime. My phone number can be found in Planning Center, or if you need to talk to someone in person, Kristen will be here so you can ask Kristen. But thank you guys so much for serving, and I will see you soon.